world, welcome back to another video. The Booktubeathon is coming up and I kind of forgot about it because the biannual Bibliothon is also happening and they sort of became the same thing in my head, but they're not. Yesterday, Btat, who is the creator and the host of the Booktubeathon, posted a video in which she announced the reading challenges of the Booktubeathon. There's always 7 of them and there's a few staples that always come back. One of them is to read 7 books, so a book a day, and that's basically like the main goal of the Booktubeathon. It runs from the 18th of July, which is my birthday, to the 24th. I watched her video and I got really inspired to join in, and I think that if I play my cards right, if I pick the right books, that I can do it, that I can read 7 books in a week. The first challenge is to read a book with yellow on the cover, and that worked out really well for me because one of the books that I was already planning to read in July is pretty much completely yellow, and that's Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Sloan. By the way, this book glows in the dark. So I was in bed last night and this one was on a pile kind of next to my bed. I used this bookcase on both sides and my bed's on the other side, so it was just lying on a shelf. And I was like, that book seems really white, like it's reflecting a lot of light. I wasn't wearing my contacts, so I was just seeing this bright blob. And then I picked it up and all the yellow things here are supposed to be books like on a shelf, and they light up in the dark. It was an unsettling experience, guys. The second challenge is to read a book only after sunset. Now that's a little tricky because at this time of year in this country, the sun doesn't set until 10 at night. And I will also be working in the week of the Booktubeathon. I don't have a lot of time to be reading like through the night. So I figured I had to pick a pretty thin book so that I could read it like in one sitting. And I came up with a really good one, if I do say so myself. It's called To Be Read at Dusk. It's by Charles Dickens. It's one of the little Penguin Black classics, as you can see. There's 3 stories in there and they're all around 20 pages, so I think I should be fine finishing that in one evening. The third challenge is to read a book that you discovered through Booktube, and again this worked out really well for me because there's this book that I was already planning to read in July anyway, and it's Eleanor Park by Rowel. I even mentioned in my TBR video where I announced that I was going to read this book in July that I've never read anything by Rowel, but I've heard a lot about her because of Booktube. I expect this to be a pretty quick read as well, so I think I should be fine with this one. Fourth is read a book by one of your favourite authors, and for that one I'll be reading NEVERWHERE by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is one of my favourite authors and I've had this book for almost 6 months now and I still haven't read it, so I think I should maybe get to it. I'm expecting this one to be the challenge of the week because it's not super thick, but it's not super thin either, and Neil Gaiman's work isn't always that easy to read for me, so this is probably going to be the one that I'll be reading throughout the week, kind of on the background. 5. Read a book that's older than you. For this one I'm actually bringing back one of the books that was on my TBR for the Booktubeathon last year, but I never got around to it, and that is Alice in Wonderland by Carroll. I've never actually read this, which I'm a little bit embarrassed about, even though I'm all for like you don't have to read the classics if you don't want to, and I feel like I do agree with myself on that, but when it comes to my own reading, I'm a bit more harsh. Anyway, it's about 100 pages in this edition. There's other stuff in this book as well, but I'll just be reading Alice's adventures in Wonderland. Challenge number 6 is to read and watch a book-to-movie adaptation. I'll be reading The Little Prince because, believe it or not, I've actually never read the entire thing, even though it's like super short. I've only ever read excerpts of it. And I'll be watching the movie adaptation from 2015, which was directed by Mark Osborne. I'll link it below. I watched the trailer and I already started crying, so I think I'm in for a fun experience. The 7th challenge is to read 7 books. Now, if you've been counting with me, you know that I have mentioned 6 so far, so I need 1 more. I decided to go with a graphic novel because that should be a pretty quick read, and also I've never ever in my life read a graphic novel before, and this seems like the time to try it. So I'll be reading Through the Woods by Carroll, which I've wanted to read for a very long time, so I hope it's good. I've heard good stories. If you're participating in the Booktubeathon, please let me know so that we can sympathize with each other's impossible reading goals, maybe via Twitter. I'll definitely be tweeting a lot. I don't know yet if I'll be vlogging throughout the week. I've done that before once, but I don't know if it's gonna be like, if that would be a fun video to watch, so I'm not sure if it would really add anything for anyone. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the other side. That's not actually true. I'll still be posting videos on Sundays, or at least trying to post videos on Sundays, so you'll definitely see me again before the Booktubeathon starts, but I just wanted to say that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.